Want to thank you for joining us in the 11 Breaking News Center this afternoon. I'm Lauren Watson, your digital anchor here at KKTV 11 News. Here today with a pretty exciting interviewee for you. This is Nils Larson. He's a NASA test pilot. He's also a U.S. Air Force Academy graduate, and he is about to undertake test piloting one of NASA's newest experimental aircraft. Nils, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome. So maybe can we first just talk a little bit about what the Quest mission, what this X-59 mission is?
Sure. Well, the Quest mission has, two things. One is the X-59 itself, and that is, can we design an airplane to make a sonic thump, essentially, instead of a sonic boom? What do we do? What are the tools that we can use to make that? So, and proving that out and testing that to make sure that that really is what we can do. Then the second thing is, once we've made that sonic thump instead of a sonic boom, the next part is, and this is unique for an X-plane, we're going to have to take this to a town near you, and we're going to need the public to tell us what is acceptable, what is too loud, and what is acceptable. So, we were going to go to like 4 to 6 different communities that are out there and get feedback from the general public.
Awesome. Now, for those in our audience who might not know, what is a sonic boom and what causes that?
Well, sonic boom happens anytime an airplane is going faster than the speed of sound. You also have anything that goes faster than the speed of sound will do that, like, a bullet or something like that. Everyone has heard a sonic boom. Well, I think everybody has, because thunder is a sonic boom. So the sonic boom from thunder gives you that loud kablam if you're near it. But the weird thing for an airplane is you get a double boom. You'll get a boom because you get the forward part, from the nose, and then you get the part from the tail. So you get a boom. And the way it happens is you've got all these different shock waves when you're going faster than the speed of sound coming off the aircraft. And one of the unique things that the X-59 does is it tries to keep these parallel for as long as possible so that they don't kind of merge and reinforce each other. So that's one of the secret sauce that we're using, to try and quiet that boom.
Awesome. Now, what will the X-59 sound like because of that softening when it flies overhead? And is there anything that people could compare that sound to?
Sure. Probably the best thing that we can think of is we say it'll probably sound like, somebody next door slamming their car door, after a day of work, or maybe like distant rolling thunder. So we're looking for it to not even interrupt your conversation.
That's awesome. Now, this is supersonic flight, and when we're looking at maybe commercial flight, there's a ban to flight like that. Why is that?
Well, there's been a ban on commercial supersonic flight over land for the last 50 years. And the big thing was people didn't like the disturbing sonic boom. So over the years, we've developed the technologies to where we know we can shape that boom and make it so it's not so displeasing. So the big thing is, air travel is going faster and faster and faster all along until all of a sudden we decided, well, we can't really go any faster because we gave ourselves a speed limit based on sound. We said, well, what if we made it a sound limit instead of a speed limit? So we're hoping that this eventually, we're going to go get the data to try and change the regulation and give it to the regulators so that they can choose to open up the regulation if they want. And then we could have everybody get to grandma's house twice as fast.
That's awesome. Now, looking a little bit, you'll be inside this plane. This is something you'll be flying, test piloting, which is super exciting. Now, from inside the X-59, can you hear that sonic boom?
It's a great question. A lot of people always want to know, but yeah, you cannot hear a sonic boom from inside the airplane because the shock waves essentially are not going across, my ear when it comes to it. And when you go supersonic in an airplane, you barely know it. The best way to know is the Mach gauge says 1.0. But you might see the altimeter swing around a little bit as a shock passes over the sensor that does your altitude. So that's usually about the only way you really know that you're going supersonic.
Awesome. Now you have this really, again, unique job. You get to fly these experimental aircraft and kind of work to solve these problems. Now, looking at that a little more generally, what is an experimental aircraft? How do you guys classify what's experimental? And what do you guys use these X-planes for?
Well, generally, the X-planes are used to define some technology. They're not prototypes, so this is not a prototype. You know, later on, you would find pieces of the X-59's DNA, as I like to say, in a commercial supersonic aircraft later. But this is really to prove out the technologies, and it's purpose-built to prove out those technologies. The first X-plane was the X-1, and it was purpose-built to go faster than the speed of sound. And now the X-59 is built to quiet that same sonic boom that was created from the X-1.
What are you personally most excited about for this Quest mission for the X-59?
Well, for me, you know, this is a test pilot's dream, getting to fly an X-plane. I really like the research side of what I get to do as a test pilot. I get to do a lot of different research here that's used in, you know, F-18s and F-15s that we have, but they're not purpose-built for something. It's, you know, using them in different ways that they weren't originally designed to be used. But this one is purpose-built to go out there, and it's brand new and it has never been flown. So I'm looking forward to, you know, going out there, expanding the envelope in the airplane, and then going out and getting this data, you know, and actually getting to use the whole thing. So this is, you know, this is pretty exciting and, you know, a culmination to a great career that I've had so far.
That's spectacular. So, Nils, I'm sure people are wondering, how do we get a boarding pass for this first flight?
Well, the way to get a boarding pass, or probably the best way, is go to nasa.gov/Quest. Now, Quest, we spell it with 2 S's. It's like supersonic. So you can go there. Once you get there, you can keep up to date on all the great things that are going on with our project. And then one of the things you can do is you can get a boarding pass, which will then get your name on the airplane for the first flight. One of the other things that you might be able to do is tomorrow is an exciting milestone for us, and that is the rollout of the X-59. It's kind of like its coming out party, where we're going to let the public see the airplane instead of just the artist renderings that we've seen. And you can go find that on NASA Plus or NASA TV or NASA's YouTube channel. Or if you can't find it, just try Googling, you know, X-59 rollout. But we're looking for an exciting time tomorrow to show the public this new X-plane that we're going to fly, hopefully sometime this year. But we still have a lot of ground testing that we have to get through and make sure that the airplane is safe before we climb in.
Awesome. Well, Nils, I think that about covers it all on my end. Is there anything I didn't bring up that you wanted to make sure we talked about this afternoon, or that you really wanted the public to know about this mission and this experimental aircraft?
No, I think I've covered most of the stuff. The big thing that I think is really neat about this airplane is the one I pointed out before, is that this X-plane has the potential to do the traveling roadshow, to come out there and involve the average citizen in some of the science that we're doing here at NASA. And we're doing more than just this and the sonic, you know, supersonic work. We're also doing sustainable flight demonstrator, which is the X-66 that you'll see coming up. We have the
Hey everybody, I'm 11 News meteorologist Luke Victor. A little bit of snowfall around parts of southern Colorado this afternoon. Not looking like it's amounting to a huge deal, but you can see a pretty good coating up by Monument. And right now, at least through the Springs, there's only been some light snow showers to report of. There's also some snow just to the west of Pueblo too. From Canyon City all the way down to Walsenburg, mainly west of I-25, we're seeing those snow showers. But the big story into the weekend, Arctic Air will have that high impact event coming into your weekend at 4.
About this with me today. Some super exciting work you're doing, super awesome things happening over there, and it was just great to be able to talk with them about you, or talk about them with you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on, and you know, and keep watching, see how we're doing.